Hello there, this is Cookies. I've got turn 50. This is probably going to wrap up my little recording session for tonight. Just did turns 48 and 49. And so now I wanted to try and end on turn 50 for tonight. Trying to get this out. The Lanka series is playing right now, so I don't have much time. Alright, we do have a couple of messages from Pythium. Forgot to send message last turn. It's been a couple of rounds of pretty savage defeats. A few on my end. I extended myself in several directions 2 turns ago and was defeated by both Shinyama and Nagartha. The assault versus the Tree Lord was quite arrogant, and I lost 3 heavily geared thugs. The remote attack versus the Golem I feel was unlucky. At least I tested 3 times and the Angel always killed the Golem. In-game, the troops routed after 1 unit died on first attack. Last turn had the worst bit of bad luck when my stupid god retreated versus a scout on the throne and died? Which means no retreat routes, because a god always is supposed to always... Oh, alright, they explain it. Apparently this is a bug of the Divine Emperor chassis regarding bearers' morale. At least Pythium can call God in 1 turn, hoping I find a solution to Shin's Golem soon. Not sure how much to count on yes, but my only shot is he distracts Agartha long enough that I can recover in 1v1 Shinu. Leaning on gold and logistics now. Apologies for multiple messages, writing at different times. Unfortunate turn for Machaka to wake up. They've been dormant the whole game, but I haven't wanted to fuck with their stack of sacred spiders. I think I have the tools to fight them, if I could focus on there, but coming off the last few turns of defeats and with pressure everywhere, it might be tough. I think I need to try to focus resources and fortify while I build my strength back, but not sure yet where or how. I think the first step might be maybe calling off the Siege of Incirna. I know he might want to storm, but that's another battle I'm not sure if he wants to take. But if his plan is the 1v1 Shinu, you might want to take it anyways. Alright. Let's see. Then Agartha. Last turn was the kind of bloody turn you play the game for. Painful losses, but much worse for Yes. On the southern front, I basically traded my entire front line for all of theirs, but kept all of my Olms. I'm left with a very ranged heavy army, especially when I combine it with the crossbows from the Iron Throne. Alright. The problem is I have no way to replace those infantry losses. My income is in the gutter, and will be for a few more turns as I retake lands lost to Yes. And I'm actually down lands to Pythium with them taking the southeast lands of mine. However, for all their cash coming in, Yes cannot replace the thugs I am killing, and it's not going to... Oh, I forgot to check the Hall of Fame last turn. Alright, I'll do it before looking at battles this turn. And it's not going to be cheap to replace those claymen either. I have an opportunity to push back before he recruits more troops. In the north, I have a very strong position now. Even though I lost that battle on the fort, those 5 dead Morvark champions clears the way a lot. The earthquake play at the Throne of Gaia was disappointing in kills, thanks to body ethereal and luck, but gave me a good idea of what it can achieve. I have a very large army in the fort now, with my god. Yes, this player could be warned, as repairing my fort is a very strong hint. I expect he will evacuate. If he doesn't, or when I trap them in their fort in 3 turns, I'm looking forward to seeing if my next play works. The southeast by the Iron Throne is my weakest position despite just winning that battle there. My infantry screen is almost entirely gone and I have no way to replace it. I'm deciding now if I'm going to abandon sitting on Jotunheim to send that army to fight Yes, and Jotun's army around Nabah on the way if he's foolish enough to fight. But I hate letting Jotunheim recruit more mages and sacreds. I need to shut him down. Instead, I'm going to send the 100 plus backup mana from the cave, but because I pulled them back to avoid losing them all to a single Morvar champion, they are 2 turns from mating with my surviving army in the cave. Nothing else of numbers is closer. The saving grace is I have enough Olms that I think it will scare off Yis from immediately attacking me as well until he gets screening troops. I should have the southwest raids from Yis contained and the first counterattack as well. It's only 2 champions there, which I have enough Olms in position to deal with. Pythium is in a tough spot fighting both Machaka and Shinu, but I'm hoping this time I won't see another player collapse or retreat inside their forts. Alright. Well, I checked out about advancing against Yis near the Throne of Iron. He has more than enough cash for a PD dump without spell death for my very gem expensive army there. Instead, I am rearranging my armies that are positioned against Jotunheim to try and regain land and income there, focusing my advance near Yis's capital until I can afford the infantry troops. Or I guess he's focusing more towards Jotunheim and maybe calming down on the Yes front. I do have a small army coming in from my capital that should let me consider advancing again, assuming Yes isn't in a position to bring a new army up as well. Okay. We have a dire portent. We got Mother Oak. So we'll have to see that. All right, let me look at the Hall of Fame. Okay. So it's all Yes. All right. So we've got 5 dead Hall of Famers and 5 still alive. Unbreakable Skin, Heroic Toughness dead, Enormous Strength, Unequaled Obesity, Heroic Precision dead, Unbreakable Skin, Iron Will dead, Enormous Strength dead, Heroic Toughness dead, and Heroic Endurance. Okay. And then the other bit is globals. So these are the 2 globals, Eyes of God and Mother Oak. So he's well aware of how his income is falling off a cliff. All right, let's start checking out these battles. So we got Earthsore Desert. We've got an Archangel who's gonna thug all this stuff. So these Spider Warriors. It's very heavy armor. It looks so spiky, but it doesn't, I guess the spikiness doesn't really do anything. Just looks cool. And they've got 2 attacks. So this is a pretty plain Jane group, and it's enough stuff to deserve, you know, something like an Archangel maybe trying to thug it. Well, Heavenly Swords. Bonus damage versus demons and undead. I don't know. This isn't... Alright. I don't know if he's got Firestorm, but it seems like Firestorm would be the play, and then you keep put these angels on bodyguard. So we've got Fire Shield. Built-in Flambeau. Oh, the angels are doing better than I thought. Oh, protection versus mundane of 26. So a lot of these guys just don't hit hard enough. Yeah, 18. So the angels are doing fine. Please tell me at least advance and cast. You're not trying to shit that all the way across the map. Oh, nope, 2 falling fires and end. Wow, that went way better than I thought it would. Alright, so Pythium clears most of this raiding party, which is a lot of stuff, and these guys are not cheap. 20 gold each, 10 gold Ichthids. Alright, Midland is up next. We've got a golem who's going to thug a ton of draconians. This kind of deserved it. It was a lot of stuff that was unsupported. They were on just attack. I don't think he had, oh, maybe it was hold and attack. Body Ethereal, just Fade, Astral Shield. If they'd gotten there before the Astral Shield, maybe they could have killed this golem. Because it's not got a lot of protection. Yeah, I think they would have killed it if it was... Let me watch this one more time. I think it was Midland. Alright, do they just fly up? No. Alright, hold and attack was... Now, they didn't know for sure, but I think it's reasonable to expect someone to magic phase a draconian stack that's this large. Especially when the chiefs are here, the chance to kill the chiefs is really solid. Either by cutting retreat routes or killing them in combat. So, yeah, this is 100% worth getting jumped on. Feral Woods. Another golem. Alright, we've seen this one before. It's going to try and thug this whole ass army. Which, you know, it's a lot of garbage. We do have a little bit of quality. We got some Serpent Cataphracts, we got a few Emerald Guard, and a few mages. Astral 5. Light of the Northern Star. But Opposition is a very short-range spell. Ooh, but Blink might put him in range. I don't know about Blink. Yeah, these... if you were expecting to get jumped on, you'd want Advancing Cast, but he might not have. How are we looking? 55? This is going to be painful for Pythium. But a good reminder of why you often want at least a few mages on Advancing Cast. It doesn't have to be all or nothing. Because in 23 MR would be tough to crack anyways. Really is relying on people to kill themselves on him. The 8 attack Snake Bladder Stick. Really struggling to kill that. The Serpent Cataphract. Alright. So that Pythium army is wiped out. So far we've had a lot of pretty effective traps. Farron Mountains, we get a double bump. So a small Agarthan infantry contingent goes ahead and raids in. Bumps with Shinyama, so they weren't coordinating that closely with a bunch of Bakemono. Not the, not the kind of bump you want to have between allies, that's for sure. So that costs 39 Bakemono, including a chief, and cost Agartha a few Veil ones. Alright, then Assad. In Assad, we've got Agartha going after Yes. Small pack of Umbrals, an Oracle of the Ancients with a few Earth Gems, and a few Great Olms. Hoping to catch a Morvark. Does not for that one. Next up, Grillion. Pretty big Menchaca stack. Okay, it'll clear all that PD. It's not going to be an issue. Loses 9 Shade Beasts doing it. That kind of sucks. in Runthale. Okay, now these guys have a pretty powerful poison cloud. And Agartha put all of his mages sitting under them, maybe hoping to point buff them. He's got other mages throughout the rest of the line. And then we've got the Pretender here. Master Splinter. We've got Iron Adept. We've got Penumbrals here. So a whole bunch of summons, a lot of infantry. So this one's probably got more frontline than it needs, and then the other army has no frontline. Yeah, we got a bunch of air gems, a bunch of earth gems. So maybe like Legions of Steel and, you know, Steel Slice Warriors, stuff like that could be on the cards. Maybe Curse of Stones. I don't think he'd Earthquake his own army, but it is possible. You know, we got Earth Gems, Astral, and Nature on this guy. This guy's got some Astral, but there's nothing here. Okay, pretty big army though. In Camia, we've got large Pythium army killing one PD. I think we've seen a lot of these Pythium armies, so I'm not gonna spend too much time on it, at least for now. In Feral Woods, we've got Pythium on the move. This one runs into a golem. This is the same golem, I think, right? Machaka golem. Yeah, if this Machaka golem kills 2 Pythium stacks, that's going to be insane value. Does the blink again. Still not a huge fan of the blink. I'm curious why he did it, though. Maybe there's something I'm not thinking of. Yeah, these things have poison res built in, so they just take forever to die or run away or do anything. They basically have to burn up in the fire shield. It sucks for Pythium. Need some advancing cast mages. So, doesn't have to be a ton, but at least give yourself a shot. Alright. Let's see, so where was that? That was Camia? No, Feral Woods. Yeah, so it loses another 61 troops. But this is also, I think, the first turn he's been getting Golem dropped in like a big way on armies. So I think he'll adjust from here. Alright, so we've got pretty budget raid, but I think this one works. Is this in Asia? Yeah, loses 1 Veti. Agartha attacking Hippocampus's Fortune, delving underwater. This is worst case scenario for yes. And Ostrung. But I do think it's the right play for yes to try and kill Agartha. So the Machaka War was definitely a mistake though. But I think that was started by Machaka. But it would have been nice if yes could have found a way out of that sooner. Alright, so Ostrung. Yeah, that raid goes fine. In Muir Isle. And a little Shinu raid, killing 1 PD. Then in Ophalaf, got a Machaka Spider Party doing a raid. In Dovin, Another little Shinu raid killing one PD. When you start seeing one PD left behind all over the place, that starts being the point where you can do like really budget raids and get a lot of value from the raiding game. Oh. Sorry about that, my phone was going off. Alright. So we've got Machaca party here. It's getting rapidly enslaved. This is where Pythium's sort of scripting that they've been doing works really well. Just stealing all these spiders. Yeah. Let's see, I thought this is Ophalov? No. Range of adventure. Here we go. Does burn out the Theurg communicants, but does steal a Voice of the Hunters and a Black Hunter. And the upside is these Black Hunters are each 100 gold, which is the cost of 2 communicants. So this is a pretty efficient battle for Pythium. Also killed the 300 gold sorcerer. Alright. Then in Usrad, looks like that Jotunheim army is going to keep walking around. In Ufinrad, Pythium attacking Shinu. We got a block of Emerald Guard. Looks like something that could get Golem dropped. We'll see if it turns out to be a trap. 50 Emerald Guard is absolutely worth jumping on, though. Let's see. Then Durland. We've got... Oh, we got more Drog. There's 6 more Drog here. So Jotunheim's going to easily win this one. He's slowly forcing his way back into this. Alright. Let's see. That was Durland. Kills 44 Bakemono. In the hole, we've got Pythium attacking Agartha. Another Bakemono raid. We got 3 mages here, too. Alright, I'm gonna try and like pseudo-thug it as mages. Weapons of Sharpness was a weird call. We got Rustmas though, just killing everybody. Alright. So kills 52 Bakemono. In Desert of Visions, we have a Great Eagle raid. Alright, that should work. They get fucking slaughtered. Holy moly, 13 eagles go down. This you definitely don't want. This is so much siege strength. Straight into a barb PD dump. Honestly, I thought the eagles would do better against barbarians. Damn. Alright. Then in Satera, not much here. I think we can skip this. In Rotmarsh. Okay. Then Jotunheim. Jotunheim's going to try and free their cap. Oh, nothing's home. All right, I think that means Jotunheim has the bot and their cap free. That's a lot of income that they're going to be on the board with. Gartha's on their way back with an army. This is a pretty serious army. And Laria. Little Jotunheim raid. Is this guy going to go for it? Who's the prophet with 5 HP in a dream? Nice. So, that's so budget. I mean, it's the prophet, but still, it's just the one little dude. All right. And then in Isepni. So no big battles this turn. Then Serpent Fiend kills a scout in Shiniyama. I'll check really quick to see if there's gear or gems. Okay. And then Carrion Mire. We've got Long Dead and Long Dead Horsemen. Just going ham on this province. Is there an event? Tomb of the Ancient King was discovered by a young scholar and released the Guardians. Alright. Oh, this province has a new PD then. Who did it raid? Agartha? I mean, this kind of just helps Agartha defend this province, at least for the moment. Yeah, he still has income down here. He's got his 3 guys. Pythium's just making tons of Bakumono. Alright, we'll look at Agartha right now. So, yes pulls off of Renthale. He saw the trap coming. The siege wasn't progressing. So we got the Morvarks. They're all leaving. We've got a pretty large army here, though. He could combine on Osenrad. But yeah, this army looks prepared to walk on Yes. We'll see if they actually dare to. Or if they just kind of move to maybe catch reinforcements. They could try and go here. Maybe these 2 groups go on Osenrad. We'll see what he tries to do. He's got a pretty solid front line here, though. There's a little Yes raid behind, trying to cut cave income. Or I guess just coming out of the cave. So it looks like they came in and now they've come out. On the southern front for Agartha, not much. Looks pretty quiet, honestly. Here's that frontline chaff that's trying to rejoin, although Flagellants, unless he's got gear, cannot go underwater. I'm surprised Agartha hasn't taken this lake yet. It's 80 gold. Would be nice. Jotunheim is starting to reestablish themselves a bit. They've got some of this. They've lost a fair amount to Shinu over here. And then, but they've got Naba, they've got Jotunheim, they're connecting all their provinces, so they're getting income, they're getting gem income. The key thing for them is, can this little group somehow find its way back to the capital? I don't think that's the case. Agartha's got a blockade running here. And Yes controls this wasteland now. So unless Jotunheim wants to start things with Yes, there's no way around over here unless he asks politely. So now when it comes to Shinu, yeah, so he left in Sirna. He did go to Kamia, hoping maybe to bump some of this stuff. I think Shinu predicted it. Let's see the Serpent Fiend. It's so funny. Alright. So Shenu's preserving their strength. They've got what looks to be well over 500 troops in the area. Pythium's still trying to maintain their strength. They just lost 2 forces to the same golem. So these were the reinforcements meaning to come help. This was that initial force. Oh, mostly PD and then they HP routed. He loses the under construction fort in Feral Woods, so that's a huge blow as well. I, I forget if it varies for Pythium, but it's probably like 1,000 gold that got lost on top of the two armies. So this is a huge blow. A lot of damage by this one golem. Does generally win the surrounding area. Losing the Great Eagles really sucks. But maintaining these gems are super valuable. 3, 4, 5 gems. So trying to trace this back is really nice. Got a little Veti raid from Pythium here. Otherwise, things are staying quiet on the Agartha front. They both have bigger issues. And then, well, I guess this army's, no, this army's more moving against Shinyama. All right. And then this is the Shinu Golem dropping on those Draconians. Then we see Machaka's attack here. This was done really efficiently. So Pythium stopped this raiding group. This group snuck past though. And then we've got the main force on Carillion with a bunch of siege chaff on the way, and these Machaka hoplites, Machaka warriors. Now, when it comes to siege chaff, this guy is worth 1.2. This guy's worth 1.6. So we're talking a cavalry unit, so oftentimes around 4. So there's already a lot of siege strength on this if this is around 110 units. How many? So we're, maybe this is 120 siege strength, and then these guys are 1.2. So I don't know. Maybe this is like 200 siege strength-ish, maybe a little bit above that. And then you've got another 200-ish. So might not crack next turn, but maybe the turn after you could probably get it to crack. But yeah, this is definitely an issue for Pythium. This is the only fort that they have west of their capital. So if this falls, the next logical target for Machaka would be the capital, while leaving Shinyama to fight over a lot of this. So this is a pretty existential threat. I expect Pythium to pull out a lot of stops to try and defend this. And then I think we've got Agartha to talk about. So Agartha has new PD here, so they've got a little bit of a front line going. You've got the fort, 2 forts here. We've got this tree here. I doubt Pythium's going to attack, but they have to garrison here because there's a garrison here. And then this group is likely waiting for this, and then this is probably going to go maybe take the fight on Jotunheim's cap, because you want to keep this contained. And then there's a fair amount of stuff building up down here. Maybe thinking about challenging for Naba, but might be in need of some sacreds or summons to provide some killing power to kill these Thrumsurdings. Well, we'll see if he's got enough. He does have some shard guard here. So yeah, I think that's it for turn 50. We'll do the big turn 50 check-in. So Pythium down again on provinces, Machaka up again. So, Machaka's come to life, Jotunheim's come back to life a bit. And then Yes is coming down a little. Agartha's starting to recover, or at least they've stopped collapsing. And for forts, Agartha and Yes, followed by Pythium and Shinu. Income, Pythium is still dropping, but they had such a large lead that they've still got some lead left. Yes is also dropping a bit. Jotunheim skyrocketed this turn, freeing up all that land. Agartha's recovering a bit this turn. Gem income. We've now got a fairly tight grouping of Yis, Pythium, Agartha, and Shinyama, but Machako's up a lot this turn. And then blood income, research looks mostly the same. It's a lot harder for this graph to... Like, you can see how rare it is when players cross over each other. So there's not quite as much movement there. It's mostly like inflections where you're looking to see if somebody's pulling away from other players. And then army size, we got Agartha out in front. Kind of flat this turn. In fact, most of the players are flat this turn. Pythium's down a bit. They took a bit of a beating at the hands of that golem. And then ascension points. Pythium loses the throne, so they're down now. So Agartha's in the lead, Shinu, yes, and then Pythium. Cool. I think that's all for this one. Hopefully you guys are enjoying things. And I'll see if I can get my ass in gear and get the rest of this game recorded. I'll see you guys in the next one. Have a good one. Bye.